Hello class 7, welcome to history lecture. Today we will continue with our chapter Crusades, and there we will see the third crusade. We have already read about the first and the second crusade, and we will see that what happened in the third crusade that we will see today. So in the second crusade we have seen that it was not much successful. And we see that we have already seen that the second crusade started from 1147, and we see that here some emperors took part. The kings gave leadership in the second crusade, like Conrad of Germany and Louis VI of France gave leadership in the second crusade. So we see that the second crusade, the Christians marched towards Palestine. Pope Eugene gave the call, but this crusade was a failure because the Christians lost to the Muslim and they could not recover their holy land Palestine, and this made the third crusade inevitable because as the Christians lost in the second crusade, now they were determined to fight another crusade to recover their holy land Palestine. And in this situation we see that the call for the third crusade was given in 1189, and this third crusade continued from 1189 to 1192. Now this third crusade is very important because we will see that it was not any easy victory for any of the sides, neither for the Christians nor for the Muslims. Now also we see that in this third crusade, two kings and one emperor took part. Two kings took part in this crusade and one emperor took part in this crusade. Now in this situation what happened is two kings. First we will say the name of the kings who gave leadership or who gave their soldiers to fight in the third crusade. So here we will see that Richard the First, actually we should say like this, Richard the First. Richard the First, the King of England, and another king we'll see, Richard the One, the King of England, and we see that here Philip Augustus, the King of France. These two kings took part in the third crusade and they played a major role, and we'll come to Richard the First. Before that we will learn another emperor who took part. So two kings, Richard I of England and Philip Augustus of France, took part in this crusade, and one emperor, that is Frederick Barbarossa, of the Holy Roman Emperor. He was the Holy Roman Emperor. These three rulers were part of the third crusade, which made the third crusade very important because it is so important that the kings and the emperors are taking part. So Richard I of England and Philip Augustus of France were the two kings, and Frederick Barbarossa was the Holy Roman Emperor who took part in the third crusade. And in this context we should mention that on the other side, from the side of the Muslims, there was Saladin. Saladin was the Sultan of Egypt. He was a great king, and he was the Sultan of Egypt during that time. So on the opposite side there was Saladin. From the Christian sides there was Richard I, Philip Augustus and Frederick Barbarossa as the leader, and on the other side only Saladin was there. So here we see that Saladin was a very brave and powerful king who fought single-handedly the three rulers. And we will see that these kings were also, they did not have any unity. The King of England or the King of France or Emperor of Rome, they didn't have unity among themselves. So Frederick Barbarossa had shown great courage in the war, but he couldn't do much. He couldn't march very deep inside because there were no unity among themselves. And we see Philip Augustus, who was the King of France, he had to return back in the middle of the war because he fell ill. Now remaining is Richard I. Richard I played a very important role, and we have to remember that Richard the First got the title of Lion-Hearted King. He got the title of Lion-Hearted King. Now you may get the question that why is Richard the First called Lion-Hearted King? Then you have to write that Richard I showed great courage and great valor in the Third Crusade. He fought single-handedly with a vast army of Saladin, and he was successful in signing a pact with Saladin. That is why he got the title of Lion-Hearted King, because he was so brave. People called him Lion-Hearted. Single-handedly he fought, because we see that Philip Augustus is returning, Frederick Barbarossa is returning, but Richard I didn't give up. He continued the fight till the end. He was so brave, and because of his courage and valor, he got this title, Lion-Hearted King. Now we see that as the Christians were weak from the very beginning, they didn't have unity, and they were returning. Kings were returning with their armies. So we see that the Christian lost in this Third Crusade also, and they could not recover their holy land, Palestine. But it is not a complete failure. The Third Crusade is not a complete failure of the Christians, because somehow Richard the First managed to sign a pact with Saladin. Richard the First made a truce with Saladin, by which it was agreed. They came to an agreement that the Christians will be allowed to enter Palestine. So though the Christians are losing in the Third Crusade, because of Richard I, they got the permission to enter into Palestine. This made the Third Crusade very important. So most important thing you have to remember for short question is who is called the Lion-Hearted King and why, and what are the importance of the Third Crusade. So there we will see that in spite of 3 kings from the side of the Christians couldn't win the Third Crusade because there was no unity. But we will also have to mention that Richard I played a very important role, and because of his courage and valor, he could sign a truce with Saladin. And as he signed the truce with Saladin, the Christians were ultimately allowed. Saladin actually allowed the Christians to enter into Palestine. So we can't say that it is a complete failure. Though they failed to recover Palestine, but they got the permission to enter into Palestine. So this is the Third Crusade, and next we will do the Fourth Crusade. Thank you.